he's such a great texter. Like, he responds within a minute or two. And I said, I'm giving him 1 or 2 more fights before he'll tell me, like, go through my manager or not even reply. That's probably in like 4 or 5 fights. And then he'll say he'll not come on anymore because he's too big time and he's got title fights and stuff like that. But for now, we have to revel. But it's already starting, guys, because he's late. So it's already starting. The superstardom is already seeping in. We have found him. He is here. There, you see, I predicted this, Bo, right? Did I not predict this?
Ariel, man, you're crazy, bro. You want to know why I was late?
Tell me. Tell me.
I was meeting with my strength conditioning coach, Sam Calavita. He does my strength conditioning nutrition with Training Lab. And I'm already getting ready for this next fight. So that's I was a few minutes late. My meeting with him ran long, planning, this next cycle. So that's why.
I just like to, but this is going to happen, by the way. Like, there was once a time, hey, Connor, you want to come on? I had to like tell him, hey, we've had you on too many times. Now, you're reaching that. And by the way, this is a compliment. I'm giving you a compliment. I'm saying this is what's to come. There's soon going to be a time where you won't text me back. So I'm appreciating it now because I've been around the block. I'm an old guy. I've seen this happen. You're wide-eyed, you're fresh-faced. Soon you'll be like, yeah, hit up Abe. Yeah, we can do it.
I appreciate that compliment. That means a lot. But I also think, you don't know me too well. Like a lot of these other dudes, they catch this fame, in a year-long time span or 18 months or something, and they don't know what to do with themselves. And for me, it's been, more of a slow build. Like, I mean, I've been dealing with media since I was 18, having, 40, 50 reporters in the wrestling room at a time, every Tuesday. That was normal for us. So, for me, I'll never forget, you brought me on your show when I had 0 MMA fights, no amateur fights. I hadn't even trained. So I won't forget that type of stuff. But no, most of these other guys don't know how to handle it. And I think I've been well prepared.
Fair enough. In a way, is it weird, like, that you are kind of being treated like this rookie, even though when I see you at the Apex, and we were talking about this last week on the show, this must be like a walk in the park compared to where you've competed, the level you competed, the crowds. We think that this is a big deal, but for you, I know it's a new sport and all this is like super, super easy in terms of pressure and tension, right?
I wouldn't say it's super easy because, you're getting into a fight at the end of the day. Like, that's not like something to take lightly. But I do feel like very well prepared for it. I mean, if you've seen, my last opponent had 8 professional fights. Like, this is my 3rd professional fight. And I'm it's night and day, like, as far as like who's more relaxed and poised in there. And I think that's how it's going to be with, most guys I fight continuing on, just because I do have that experience. So, it's not necessarily that there's no pressure or that it's, not as big as what I'm used to. It's more just like I've built up to this moment and I've had all these, hundreds of matches and experience that I take with me every single time I do go in to compete.
Let's say, like, when we spoke before you even train, amateur debut, all that stuff, if we would have said, all right, let's map out the first couple fights, the first year as a pro, could you have predicted that this would go, like, the length of the fights, the buzz, the hype? Did you think, or is this kind of surprising you as well?
It's somewhat surprising. I would say the most surprising thing, it's not how the fights are going. It's just that, in my 2nd professional fight, I'm fighting on, Contender Series. And obviously, I'm going to be fighting in my 4th pro fight in a UFC event, and so that's what to me is a little unexpected, because I expected to get, 7, 8, 9 pro fights before getting to this point. And not that my skills and that I wasn't ready to do that. I just kind of expected to not get as much buzz and not get as, I didn't expect the UFC to want to sign me right away and to bring me in because of my lack of experience. I expected to get more, but I felt like as far as how the fights went, that's pretty much as I expected. I think at the end of the day, I expect to beat anybody I go out there and compete against, and not only beat them, but dismantle them quickly, especially at this stage in my career. Not that that's going to happen every time, but I know that there's always that possibility.
Now that you're officially in, can you shoot straight with us? You were in before the last fight, right? I mean, that was all work, right?
I earned my way. I earned my way in. I had to do 2 fights on Contend, and that was just part of my trajectory, part of my plan. And I think people all make a big deal about it, but it was good for me. It was good for the UFC. It was good for everybody. I needed more experience. I needed more fights. I can't sign to the UFC and then pull dudes off regional rosters and fight
Right.
those guys on UFC cards. So, I needed 2 fights on contenders. Obviously, they were they went well, and as expected, there was a little more pressure, with me, people expecting me to like be in the UFC. Like I still got to win those fights. So, with that being said, I'm happy to be where I'm at now, and now have everything be official.
Maybe a silly question, but do you wish you had a couple more of those regional fights, or are you okay going into the UFC now?
Well, it's hard because like I wouldn't mind taking regional fights. I just like competing, and I think like as far as like who's gonna fight me
Mm.
in a regional, right? Like, the only reason this dude fight me is he probably got paid like 10x what he gets paid on the regional promotion, and maybe and it's his shot, right? Like it's a great opportunity for him. Like his only chance probably to make it into the UFC. And I don't really know like if I were to be able to get fights easily and stuff. So for me, the main priority is competing, and I know now that I'm on the roster, I'm signed with the UFC. Like that, they're going to get me fights, and that's what I'm most excited about. Is just the opportunity to compete on big stages in front of big crowds, and continue to build my game and get better.
So Donovan Beard had the winning record, as you said. Had a nice little run, finishes, but like you weren't surprised that it only lasted 52 seconds.
Well, I wasn't surprised. I was prepared to go 15 minutes. I mean, he's a tough dude. He had obviously won a lot of fights, and he was a Cage Fury champ. I mean, tough guy, right? Like in all respects, like well-rounded game. He had submission finishes, had decision wins, I don't know if I think he had some TKOs. Like, I mean, he was a good fighter, but for me, I think going in, I always know that's a possibility. I'm just dangerous, and obviously with the wrestling, but now people know, I can knock you down. They know I could submit you, not with wrestling, submissions either, not with like arm triangles or rear naked chokes. Like that's a real, jujitsu threat there. I freaking threw a triangle, went to my back. But
It was
yeah, I
amazing.
mean, I didn't. It didn't surprise me that it went that way. But again, I was ready to go 15 minutes if I needed to.
So I said this after the fight, and I want to know if you agree with me. We've seen a lot of guys come over from NCAA wrestling. Obviously, I mean, we don't have to. We've seen all DC to Brock to all these guys, and we know about the. But I don't know if there's been someone with your resume in the NCAAs, multiple time national champion, all that stuff, at a school like Penn State, competing in the Big Ten, and then come over to MMA and make this impact, and not just make this impact with wrestling and getting wins. You're showing striking and the jujitsu. Like, I don't know if that's ever happened where someone has shown the skills that you've shown in a very short amount of time with the background in wrestling, right? We've seen people come from different disciplines and have this, but not the two together. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I think that taking if I don't look at it like personally, if I just try to look at it objectively, like you can't really argue with that. It's just the facts. Like it's not me saying it as my opinion. It's just that's the facts. Like I'm getting knockout wins, I'm getting submission wins, I'm finishing guys. Like I've had 5 fights in a year, not a single one. They've all been like a minute each. Nobody's done that. In coming from my background with my pedigree and the accolades that I've achieved. So just objectively, like it's absolutely true. And I think I probably approach fighting a little differently than most people. I don't really like, I really feel zero anxiety approaching fighting. And that's not only in regards to my wrestling, but it's in regards to all the other disciplines and things. And I think that's just a testament to like my coaches, being great coaches and really pouring into me, all the American top team guys and stuff. And, I'm just also in the coming up to the prime of my athletic career, probably in, 3-4 years, I'll be there. And I think that my mentality and kind of how I approach the sport is like everything's on the up and up.
Were you always that way, or was there a time where you were super nervous before your matches?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was definitely a big growth period that I went through in college. I was always really nervous to win or lose in wrestling coming up from like as a kid because I felt a lot of pressure. I won a lot, so when I did lose, it was like a big deal. And like, I mean, I've said this before, but when I was like 7, 8 years old, competing at a tournament, there would be like a crowd of 100 people around my mat. Like that was just like a normal thing. And so when I lost, it was a big deal. Like I remember at that same age, I lost a tournament, or I lost a match in a tournament, and the next weekend, a kid had a shirt on that said "I beat Bo Nickal" and had like the date on it and stuff.
Wow.
So like that's the stuff I was dealing with like as a kid. And it wasn't until through college I lost the NCAA finals my freshman year, and then having a year later won the NCAA tournament and beat at that point was the pound for pound number one guy that I kind of dethroned in the finals. That I felt both ends of the spectrum there, and it helped me grow a lot because I realized like I wasn't really scared to lose, and winning that NCAA finals match, that feeling, that great feeling, it still faded the same as me losing the year before it faded. And so I just realized like I don't really define myself by wins and losses. I don't really value, my worth doesn't come based on whether I win or lose a match or win or lose a fight. I just want to go out there and perform and be the best I can be and enjoy all the moments that I get to have.
Like that answer in particular, we were talking about you on Wednesday, and you remind me, and again, this is going to sound like I'm just like blowing smoke up your ass, but I said it when you weren't on the show. It's like when I listen to, number one pick in the NFL draft, a quarterback like a Joe Burrow, like you have this poise, this confidence, this experience that all these other guys just don't have because of your background. And I would have to imagine that you feel like just the way you conduct yourself, little things. Like I noticed you shake Laura Sanko's hand after the interview. Like you just do little things like a pro, and you're sitting there next to these guys, and you could just see like one of these things is not like the other. Like one guy has been through the ringer, and it reminds me a lot of a first, overall pick. Do you notice that difference as well between you and the guys who are at your level in MMA?
Oh, 100%. I think, I'm grateful to have all of the people around me that I do, and have all the people that have helped me learn and taught me what's important and how to be professional, and taught me about character and things like that and how to handle yourself. So I don't want to like compare myself with other people so much, but I do notice a difference just because I don't think that everybody's had those resources, and I want to change the whole sport of MMA. I think not only I think it starts. I think if you look at it from a fan's point of view, fans have a different perspective of MMA relative to the MLB or the NFL. Like they don't really see it as a professional sport in the same way. They see it as like just more brutal, and like it's not really on that same level. And I think that the reason is because the fighters and the athletes see it the same way. Like they see it as like I'm fighting for a check. Like I'm not a professional athlete. And I really want to change the landscape of the sport in that like, we're professional athletes. Like we need to treat our craft with respect and come at it professionally. Like there's no, like for me, there's no missing weight. There's no, showing up and not being prepared, not being ready. There's no missing training and going and partying and doing all this and that. Like I'm a professional. I'm ready to go. This is my job and I love it. I get to do this every day, and that's something I'm grateful for. So I'm going to make the most of it. And I don't think that any fighters have that attitude. And until that changes, the way that people look at the sport isn't going to change, and it's not going to be respected on the same level as, the NFL, NBA, MLB.
So when you see Khamzat Chimaev miss weight by 7.5 pounds, what do you think?
I just think, first off, like this dude talks about he's ready to go always, a gangster, this and that. Bro, you can't even beat the scale. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is just a dude that has, no accountability and who doesn't treat the sport professionally. Like that makes me way less nervous to fight him in the future, because we're going to fight. And, I know that he's not committed like I am. He's not willing to do the things that I'm willing to do. And yeah, he's talented. Yeah, he has skills. But if that's how you approach the sport, that's how you treat it, we're on different levels. And people will act like I'm talking crazy because I say like I'm ready to go, Chimaev, let's get it. But reality is, this dude won 3 national titles in Sweden and then came into MMA and has 10 fights. Bro, I've been competing since I was 5. Like I had 120 plus NCAA wrestling matches. I won a U23 world championship. Like I'm coming with 10 times the experience that you have. So, when people say like, oh, you're not ready, stay in your lane. Like y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about. So you'll see what happens when we get in the cage.
Did you see what he said? Who's this new guy?
The only reason he knows exactly who I am. The only reason he said this stuff is because he doesn't want that fight. He's gonna try to act like, oh, he doesn't know me, this and that. It's like, bro, you'll get to know me because at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep winning. Hopefully, you keep winning, and we'll match up. Like I'm down. Let's get it.
You think it's inevitable though? At some point, you will fight him.
I would say on my end, yeah. I mean, if he takes care of his end, then I hope. I don't really see too many people that can deal with his pressure and that are gonna, be able to take him out. So I mean, I'm the guy, and I'm excited for that opportunity because everybody thinks he's untouchable, and I know he's not.
Oh, fun debate that I think was like the main topic last week. You versus him right now. I really don't know. Like I really like, and it's a crazy thought considering your experience in the sport right now compared to his, and the fights that he's had in the UFC compared to zero for you. But you versus him right now, are you 100% confident you win that fight?
For sure. I wouldn't ask for it. I wouldn't have said it in an interview if I didn't believe it. And for me, is that fight going to happen realistically? Like, no. They want him to be the champ. They want to build him up, and they want to build me up too. So if you look at it from a professional perspective, like that's not the fight to make right now. But I'm going to keep winning. I hope he keeps winning. It'll get bigger and bigger, and then we'll do it up, and I'm going to smash him. Just, I'm at this point training hard every day. He's doing his thing with Till, going around, jacking around, and we'll see what happens when we both get in there in the cage, because it will happen, like I said.
How do you think that fight plays out? Like right now, how do you think you win?
I think I can win a lot of ways. I mean, he's a 170. Like, he can't. Yeah, he's a 70 that can't make weight. But what's he going to do to me? Like, is he going to take me down? No. Is he going to submit me? No. Does he have a chance to knock me out? I mean, I guess, yeah, there's a chance to knock me out. But reality, more than likely, what happened is I'm going to drag him down to the ground, do exactly what he does to all these strikers, and I'm going to do it to him because I'm a real grappler. I come from real wrestling, and so the exact thing that he's doing to guys like Kevin Holland and Lee, that's what I'm going to do to him.
God, I don't know if there's a fight that excites me more than you versus him right now. And that's a crazy thing to say, but just like the confidence that you have, the skill set that you have, his skill set, to see who would win out is just unbelievable. I think that could be, like, if built correctly, you being, Mr. All-American, Penn State, I mean, like Mr. Big Ten versus him, the big bad wolf from Chechnya and Sweden. I think this could be one of the biggest fights in the history of the sport. Do you agree?
I hope it is the biggest fight in the history of the sport. I hope it is, because that's right where I see myself and what excites me the most. And that's why I get up every day and train as hard as I do and put the hours and hours in that I know other people aren't willing to do. So yeah, he's going to, when that fight gets announced and when he signs on the dotted line, he's going to have 8 weeks to train, but it's already going to be too late because I've been training since I was 5 and I'm ready for this. So, I hope it's the biggest event in UFC history when it comes. And, he's not going to have enough time he's not going to be able to go back in time and spend years and years training and prepping for it. And I'm already doing it right now.
Of all the dream fights at your disposal right now, would that be number one on the list?
It would be number one if it was also for the belt, because I want to be champ. So hopefully, that fight can be for the title. And if it's just him versus me, then it's not number one. But if it's for the belt and he's still undefeated, then yeah, it would be. Again, he's got to take care of his end. I'll take care of mine. And yeah, for sure.
Did you know that they would put you on the video game, the cover, the thing? Like, did you know all that was happening?
I saw Dana tweeted out the list thing and was like, "Who do you guys want?" And I saw I was like killing the boat, and so I figured they would do it, and that's cool. I was like, "Dang, that's sweet." I don't play video games, but it's cool to be on there, and a lot of my friends doing stuff, so they're real hype about it. But yeah, I'm sure that I'll be 99 overall here soon.
So you're returning, as you told them you would return. As you're walking out, I heard you say to Hunter Campbell and Dana White, like, "Hey, December, let's go." They announced, I think, a day later, 2 days later, I think it was 2, UFC 282 against Jamie Pickett. When did you find out? That's December 10th, by the way, in Las Vegas. When did you find out that you would be on that card?
Pretty much right then.
Oh, wow.
There wasn't like a lot of time in between the fight and stuff, and I just really let my manager handle that. So that's not official or anything. Like, that's all just like people talking. Like, nope, there's not been anything signed, but and there's no announcement yet by the UFC. But that's like what we're looking at right now. So yeah, I would say 99% that's what's going to happen. But again, like, it's not official.
Okay. We're doing this thing. We're doing the thing
I'm
now.
fighting on December. I'm fighting on December 10th. Again,
Okay.
This isn't on my end, but I'm fighting December 10th. Who will it be against? That it's to be decided. But yeah.
Oh, is it? Do you think there's a chance he doesn't do it?
I don't know. I don't know him. I haven't talked to him or asked him or anything. And I'm just saying. I'm just telling you guys what I know
Got it.
for a fact. I'm not going to say things that I don't know for a fact. So this is just what I know for sure.
Okay, fair enough. And did you even, let's say it's him, or at least I'm assuming that was presented to you. He was one of the names presented to you. Did you know who Jamie Pickett was?
Once they told me the name, then I looked him up. Yeah.
Are anything that impresses you about him, or do you think it will be relatively the same as what we've just seen?
He has good experience. He's an athletic guy. He, I've seen him get finished in different ways before, but I feel like, he's a tough dude. He's got over 20 pro fights, and he's had a bunch of fights in the UFC. So it makes sense for me. It's a logical next step up. He's probably going to be the toughest guy I've fought up to this point, and I'm looking forward to, making the most of it. So if I have to go 15 minutes and, dog him that way, I'll do that. If I finish him again in 60 seconds, I'll do that. So, I never go into a fight expecting to finish guy in a minute, but it seems to be happening a lot. So maybe I should start expecting it. I don't know.
And by the way, are they going to put you on the pay-per-view, or are you going to be on like the ESPN prelims? Do you have any idea?
Ariel.
What? Is that a serious, I mean, what is this, a personal question?
Like, am I a prelim guy? I'm not a prelim guy.
All right.
If I have to fight on the prelims, I'll just retire. I'm done.
Wow. Is that in the contract? Baked in the contract? You have to be on the pay-per-view main card?
I don't know if it's in the contract, but they'll do the right thing. They'll do the smart thing. And if I'm like I said, if I'm on the prelims, I'll retire. I'm out.
The only reason I ask that is usually the ESPN prelims get seen by more people than the pay-per-view, so maybe they put you as the headliner there to get people to buy the pay-per-view. They've done this before with big names.
Yeah, I've seen him do it before. I've seen him do like a bigger fight on the prelim and stuff, but
You're a main card guy.
I don't know. I'm a main card guy. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's Dana White Contender Series again, but like I'm main eventing Dana White Contender Series at 2-0. Like every fight I'm in is the main event. So if they're putting me on the main card.
And by the way, how serious were you about the Logan Paul call out? Was that just a joke, or is this something that you're actually interested in?
Oh, 100%. Let's get it. Let's run it. I mean, he's obviously a big name. That's a big fight. And we can do it in the UFC or the WWE. I'm down. I'm a wrestler, right? Like, why not go pro?
Now, did they like that? I mean, I would imagine Dana and the boys didn't really like you calling out a WWE guy in a WWE ring.
I don't know. I didn't talk to him about it. I didn't ask if they liked it or not. But I'm down to compete in any arena. So, and I don't think that it would be a bad thing at all for the UFC. Like, I go in there, dismantle Logan Paul in the WWE ring. That makes me even bigger and an even bigger star in the UFC. So why not?
Did WWE come after you when you were deciding what you would do post-college?
Yeah, like real briefly. It was like one of those things where they were like, hey, come out, come do the training camp, this and that. Like, we want to meet you and talk. And I was like, I'll do WWE after I take care of my MMA stuff. And, if it makes sense, like, I would love to. I've always liked the WWE, and I've always been a fan of that sport as well. So, if it makes sense and time-wise it works out, I would, jump in over there, fight, maybe go back and forth or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, it's all the main priority is fighting, is MMA.
Be honest with me. They said, go to the tryout, the training camp. You're like, bro, I'm Bo Nickal, all right? Either you're into me or you're not. I ain't doing no training camp, no tryout, none of that.
It wasn't even really thought of at that point. Like, I didn't even really like worry about the training camp or tryout because I was like, I'm focused on fighting. Like, that's it. So it wasn't even really like an option. And I didn't even really think about like, oh, like, you're making me go to the tryout. I was just like, that's cool that they are interested in me, but I'm not really, yeah.
You versus Logan in a straight wrestling match would be really cool because he's got that background. No, you don't think that?
It would be cool. It would be cool. You want to see somebody get destroyed, get bodied. No, but Logan Paul is dope. He's a awesome guy. From what I've seen, I listened to his podcast a couple of times, and he reps wrestling too. So I think that's cool. But I just think at the end of the day, like, there can only be one. Like, he's all American, famous YouTuber dude. Like, I'm a real all American doing real things, and let's match up and see who the better man is.
Okay, just a couple more for you, and then I'll let you go. December to December, like December 2022 to December 2023. How many fights do you think you have in that 365-day period?
Probably 4.
4. Where do you think you're at this time next year, like December of 23? Where do you think you're at?
I think I'm in the top 10, and by middle of 2024, fighting for the belt.
Okay, you see these guys like Darren Till. I saw Chris Curtis. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I think you could fight top 10 guys right now and win those fights. Like, I don't know if there's many. Is that a crazy thought? Do you agree with me on this? When you see these callouts, what are you thinking?
I just think it's hilarious. Like, yo, like, why are y'all calling me out? Like, it's just wild stuff, like, I'm not calling out high school wrestlers for wrestling matches. That's kind of what the equivalent is. And so they're worried about me, and it's all good, but your time will come when I decide it. It doesn't really matter what you think or say. Like, I make the call. So if I want to fight you, I'll fight you.
By the way, smart move on their part. I'd rather try to pick you off now as opposed to a year from now, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, just doesn't really matter either way. It's not going well for them.
Okay. By the way, how many fights did you sign for? Is it like 4-fight deal, 6-fight deal? What are we talking about?
Yeah, 4 fights.
Oh, wow. So that's why you said the 4 at the end. Then you're really going to cash in.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what makes sense. I got a good manager, so he takes care of that.
You got this fat necklace with an RL. What is the RL?
Oh, this is SL. This is Scrap Life, my apparel brand. So we're based in wrestling, but we that's just like a logo on my crew neck.
Okay.
But yeah, we got wrestling shoes and wrestling gear and stuff. We'll get into MMA soon.
And last thing, I saw you cooking some steaks. I'm a big well-done steak guy. Would you be offended? I mean, the steaks look good, but they were a little too pink for my liking. I mean, I saw a lot of red in there. Would you be offended if I asked you for a little extra crispy? Bad? You think less of me?
Ariel, I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't want to eat blood. Why would I want blood?
It's not blood. The problem is you're being a pussy.
Wait, what do you recommend?
Oh man, medium rare, baby. That's how we do it. Get a little char on there. Yeah, but I don't. You come to my house. I'll grill you up a real steak, and it ain't none of this well done crap. We'll do it up right.
I like a nice well done steak with some ketchup on the side. I mean, really dip it in there. What would you say if I came to your house? It's
you're a sicko.
I'm the sicko. I'm not eating freaking blood steak.
I'm about to hang up.
You're out there shirtless cooking these rare steaks. I mean, this is barbarian stuff.
I'm a fighter, Ariel. I get paid to go into a cage and fight people. You think I'm eating a well done steak? No shot.
All right, that's a good point. All right, so December 10th, 282. You might be fighting someone else. Maybe Jamie Pickett. We'll see. But that's official. You are fighting on that date.
Official. I'm fighting on that date. Whoever shows up to fight me is going to get massacred. So that is what it is.
Can't wait. Congrats on the deal. Congrats on the win. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it, Bo.
Yeah. Thanks, Ariel. Catch you later.
All right. There he is. Bo Nickal. What a guy. I mean, what a guy.